Desire is the most misunderstood force in the human condition. The common man treats it like a wish, a soft craving whispered into the void, hoping the universe may someday listen. But this is a dangerous misconception. Desire is not a question, it is not a plea, and it is never gentle. It is a command. It is the iron will of the soul made visible through longing. And in those who understand this truth, it becomes the driving weapon of transformation. A man does not get what he desires because he is good. He gets what he desires because he refuses to live without it. The world is structured around power, and power answers only to those who dare to assert their own. There is a sacred arrogance required to manifest true desire. Not arrogance born from ego, but the kind forged from awareness of one's divine place in the order of things. When you move as though your desire is not a possibility, but a certainty, something shifts in the air around you. The people around you begin to adjust. Reality, like a court servant sensing the presence of a hidden king, begins to rearrange itself. But this certainty cannot be borrowed, faked, or imitated. It must be carved into your bones through fire, through suffering, through betrayal, through ruthless clarity. When a man becomes intolerant to anything less than the life he envisions, he becomes a force the universe must obey. The modern world teaches you to suppress desire, to make it small, manageable, respectable. It teaches you to hide your longing beneath politeness, humility, and socially acceptable mediocrity. But the forbidden energy, the kind that attracts empires, power, lovers, loyalty, is not found in weakness. It is found in the primal decision to never shrink again. The moment you stop negotiating with your dreams, the moment you stop justifying your hunger, is the moment you become untouchable. You cannot beg for what you were born to own. You must claim it, not through words, but through being. Desire must become your religion, your inner god, the silent anthem echoing behind every step you take. But not in the emotional, chaotic way most people approach manifestation. Emotions are wild animals. They must be trained. You must feel your desire with calm authority, not desperation. You must stare into the mirror, not with hope, but with recognition. The man you are becoming already lives within you. The empire you crave is already written in your blood. You are not becoming. You are remembering. This is the essence of command. It is not asking reality for permission. It is informing it of your arrival. The forbidden energy does not exist outside of you. It is not in crystals, prayers, or rituals alone. It is in your posture, your breath, your tone of voice. It is in the way you sit in silence and allow the world to move around you, not through you. You do not chase, you orchestrate. You do not pursue, you magnetize. And magnetism is not about charm. It is about gravity. The greater your inner weight, the more everything bends to your presence. This inner weight is built by discipline, by conviction, by the refusal to betray your own vision even when the world laughs, rejects, or resists. Desire, when fully owned, becomes destiny, and destiny only belongs to those who do not negotiate with fear. Those who seek fear as noise. Those who speak to their doubts like disobedient soldiers. Those who walk into the unknown not with anxiety, but with command. Your soul does not desire randomly. Every image, every ache, every obsession, it is encoded with purpose. And the more you treat it like a suggestion, the further you fall from power. The moment you treat your desire as law, you step into forbidden territory. You no longer live as a man. You live as a force. The universe does not operate on fairness. It obeys order, power, and silent hierarchies embedded into the unseen layers of existence. Every room you enter, every conversation you have, and every desire you chase is governed by an energetic pyramid. At the top stands the one who does not need. At the bottom crawls the one who begs. Attraction is not a matter of luck. It is the result of your energetic position within that structure. If you are at the bottom, your desire leaks out like blood in the water. You become prey, hunted by chaos, overlooked by the very things you seek. But if you rise, if you become the predator, cold, watchful, composed, you begin to draw everything toward you, without chasing a single thing. The predator is not a beast of rage. He is a master of timing. He does not act on impulse. He studies, he waits, he strikes only when it serves his empire. The forbidden energy to attract Everything you desire is not about running toward it. It is about shifting into a state where what you desire recognizes you as its natural ruler. Your desire must see you and submit, and this only happens when you emit the energy of inevitability. The predator does not question whether he will eat. He knows. He already has. That knowing is the signal. It is the beacon that changes how others look at you, respond to you, and fall in line beneath your gravity. The prey is ruled by emotion. He reacts, he overthinks, he explains. He leaks energy through apologies, confusion, overcompensation. He carries desire like a burden, always visible, always vibrating with need. But the predator carries his desire like a secret blade, concealed, precise, and never revealed until the moment it carves his mark upon the world. To become this, you must train your presence. Every movement, every word, every silence must be infused with still power. You must speak less. You must observe more. You must become dangerous, not through violence, but through self-possession. Nothing must be able to shake you, and no one must ever be allowed to place themselves above you. Hierarchy is not about social status. It is about inner alignment. There are men who rule kingdoms but operate from the energy of prey, begging for validation, trembling before rejection. And there are men with nothing who carry themselves like kings, silent, patient, watchful. These men attract alliances, wealth, and devotion not because of what they have, but because of what they do not lack. They do not lack control. They do not lack direction. They do not lack the courage to stand alone. When you carry no absence inside you, everything outside you begins to reflect wholeness back to you. That is the hidden mechanism of attraction. Not desire alone, but desire backed by order. To rise to the top of the energetic hierarchy, you must withdraw your attention from what you do not control and invest it only in what you command. Do not chase people, chase mastery. Do not chase outcomes, chase refinement. The more complete you become, the more the incomplete seek to orbit you. This is the code. This is the law. Your presence must become a gravitational pull, not a cry for help. You do this by conquering the small, your posture, your tone, your habits, your thoughts. Each time you choose stillness over panic, clarity over noise, dominance over passivity, you rise. Predators are not born. They are forged. Forged in betrayal, in humiliation, in solitude. While the prey looks for comfort, the predator embraces discomfort as his training ground. He becomes comfortable in hunger. He becomes loyal to his own vision even when no one claps. This gives him an edge that no one can teach. When he walks into a room, people feel something they cannot name. That feeling is hierarchy. That feeling is the forbidden energy. It is what bends others before a word is spoken. It is what draws opportunity without effort. It is not about pretending to be powerful. It is about becoming untouchable through silent, relentless inner warfare. The highest form of attraction is the absence of desperation. When you no longer need, you begin to command. When you no longer pursue, you begin to pull. When you cease to explain your worth, the world begins to mirror it back. The path to power does not win through the noise of the crowd. It does not emerge from applause or praise or validation. It is not handed down by the masses, nor discovered through shared emotion. The forbidden energy, the kind that bends reality, magnetizes destiny, and transforms ordinary men into sovereign forces, is born in the crucible of chosen solitude. Not the loneliness of the weak, but the deliberate isolation of the becoming. Before any man can wield true power, he must first be willing to be utterly alone with himself, with no distractions, no masks, no crutches. This exile is the furnace. This is where the ordinary dies and the inevitable is forged. Most people spend their entire lives running from themselves. They cling to company not out of love, but out of fear of silence. They fear what they will find when the world stops speaking to them. But those who seek the forbidden energy understand that silence is the arena of kings. They walk into their own exile not as victims, but as architects. It is in the absence of external validation that the internal voice grows louder, and that voice, when sharpened by solitude, becomes the command of the soul itself. To access this energy, you must be willing to be misunderstood, doubted, mocked, and ignored. You must walk away from comfort and walk toward yourself, not the self they built for you, but the one buried beneath decades of programming. Isolation strips you of the illusions others have placed upon you. It breaks the mirror that society holds up and forces you to build a new reflection from within. In the crowd, you are a role. In solitude, you become a presence, and presence is where the forbidden energy lives. It is a force that begins to radiate when you no longer seek to be seen, because you now see yourself more clearly than anyone else ever could. You become immune to praise and unshaken by rejection. You no longer ask for support. You create it within your own bones. This is not arrogance, this is liberation. The power of self-imposed isolation is that it reveals the truth of what you are. It reveals your addictions to attention, your dependencies on others to define your worth, your hidden cravings to be liked and accepted. And once you face these truths without flinching, they begin to lose their grip on you. The more you detach from the world's noise, the more your own signal becomes unshakable. This signal, this energy, begins to ripple outward. It cannot be faked. It cannot be learned through words or read in books. It is felt. It is feared. It is respected. This period of isolation is not permanent. It is seasonal. But the mistake most men make is skipping this season. They go from idea to action, from dream to performance, without ever retreating into the shadows to become something worthy of remembrance. And so their creations lack weight. Their words lack echo. Their desires remain hollow because they were never filled from within. The forbidden energy is not found in doing. It is born in being, and being must be forged in the dark, where no one is watching and no one is clapping. The predator does not roar while he is training. He roars only when it is time to claim the kill. Solitude is not the absence of noise. It is the presence of transformation. There is a reason why the prophets, the kings, the strategists of old all disappeared before they emerged. There is a reason why the most powerful minds withdrew from the world before they shaped it. Power is built in private. Influence is first forged in obscurity. Those who fear being alone will always be slaves to the collective mind. But those who master isolation become the authors of new paradigms. They return to the world not as citizens, but as rulers. And the world, sensing something it cannot understand, submits, not because you asked, but because you became. Lust is not merely sexual. It is the hunger for immediacy, the craving for pleasure, for validation, for anything that offers the illusion of power without the cost of mastery. It is the fire that devours most men, not because it is evil, but because it is ungoverned. Unchecked lust is chaos, an internal riot that demands satisfaction over strategy. But when this fire is controlled, not extinguished but caged, it becomes fuel. It becomes command. The forbidden energy that magnetizes desire and builds invisible empires is nothing more than lust transmuted through discipline. You do not kill the beast. You train it to serve your will. The man who indulges in his every craving becomes predictable, weak, and easily manipulated. His energy is scattered, his focus diluted, his presence unstable. He seeks women, applause, food, distractions, not because he needs them, but because he has never learned to sit with his hunger. He fears emptiness. But emptiness is the throne room of kings. The one who resists is not empty. He is filling himself with a power that others cannot see. Every desire he restrains becomes a soldier. Every temptation he denies becomes a weapon sharpened in silence. Eventually his restraint becomes radiance. His energy grows dense, focused, magnetic. He no longer needs to chase anything. He becomes the axis around which weaker energies orbit. Lust, in its raw form, is power with no direction. It is pure electricity, capable of destruction or creation. But it is the mind of the ruler that determines its function. When you channel that lust into your craft, into your physical discipline, into the sharpening of your speech and presence, you begin to emit something rare, something others feel but cannot name. This is the unspoken command that shifts conversations, alters rooms, and makes others defer to you without knowing why. It is not charm. It is not charisma. It is transmutation. You have taken the primal and made it divine. This process requires suffering. You will face nights where your hunger screams. You will be tempted by softness disguised as love, by flattery disguised as support, by comfort wrapped in opportunity. But you must see beyond the surface. You must see the trap in pleasure when it is not earned, and the weakness in anything that does not grow your control. Resisting does not make you less, it makes you more. Each act of restraint compounds into self-respect, and self-respect is the invisible kingdom from which all external power flows. You do not restrain yourself to impress others. You do it to become untouchable by them. The man who masters his lust is feared, not because he threatens, but because he cannot be seduced. He is not moved by appearances. He is not enslaved by the body nor the moment. He sees through, he waits, he commands. And this patience is terrifying to those who live as slaves to the immediate. His power grows while others burn themselves out chasing shadows. His energy consolidates while others dissipate theirs in endless loops of pleasure and regret. When he speaks, he does not hope to be heard. He expects to be obeyed, not through force but through weight, energetic weight, the kind of presence that only emerges from the battle between flesh and will, and the quiet victory of the latter. Transmutation is not abstinence, it is redirection. It is taking the force of lust and bending it toward creation, the creation of a sharper mind, the construction of a stronger body, the shaping of a sovereign identity, the building of a legacy that does not beg to be remembered, but commands to never be forgotten. This path is not glamorous, it is brutal, it is lonely, it is often silent, but it is sacred. It is how men stop being ruled by their lower nature and begin ruling from their higher self. This is the essence of the forbidden energy. It is the fire that no longer consumes but builds, the lust that no longer begs but leads, the desire that no longer leaks but radiates, the hunger that no longer searches outward, but becomes the throne from which you command all things inward and outward alike. The world is a carefully crafted illusion, built not to liberate you but to contain you. From the moment you open your eyes, you are fed a doctrine, subtle but relentless. Be good, be patient, wait your turn, don't want too much, serve others first, be realistic. These commandments do not come from truth, they come from control. They are not designed to empower the individual. They are designed to maintain the machine, and so most men are broken before they ever begin. They live by borrowed beliefs, inherited fears, and invisible chains wrapped in the language of morality, humility, and reason. But the man who begins to see through the veil becomes something else. He becomes dangerous. Because he no longer participates in the grand deception, he begins to rewrite it. Reality is not fixed. It is programmable. It responds to dominance, not decency. It rewards alignment, not obedience. When you believe in its lies, you become its servant. But when you awaken to the truth, that your thoughts are codes, your emotions are levers, and your choices are commands, you rise above the script written for you. This is the forbidden energy. It is not mystical. It is not fictional. It is structural. Those who rule the world do not follow its rules. They understand the game is not played on the surface. It is played beneath it. They do not react to reality. They design it. Not with force, but with certainty. Most men are too distracted to see clearly. They are trapped in cycles of reaction, reacting to news, to emotions, to failure, to rejection. But reaction is the posture of the prey. The man who sees through the lie does not react, he calculates. He understands that reality does not bend to emotion, but to order. He no longer believes in luck. He studies patterns. He decodes systems. He watches the movements of others like a strategist preparing for war. And slowly, piece by piece, he begins to remove the programs that have governed him. Guilt, fear, shame. These are no longer his masters. They are tools, or obstacles, but never authorities. To attract all that you desire, you must stop speaking the language of the weak. Phrases like, I hope, I wish, maybe one day, must die in your mouth. They are not benign, they are curses. Every word you speak is a spell. Every thought you repeat becomes a law. If your mind is full of uncertainty, your reality will obey that frequency. But if your thoughts are disciplined, curated, infused with command, the world cannot help but adjust. This is not delusion. This is the unseen architecture of power. Those who build dynasties understand it. Those who follow orders ignore it. You must walk as if the world is clay and you are the sculptor. Not out of arrogance, but because you understand that perception shapes matter. If you believe you are beneath something, you are. If you believe something belongs to you, it starts moving toward you. Reality does not care about your worthiness. It responds to your belief. And belief is not soft, it is a weapon. You must wield it like a sword, cutting through doubt, through contradiction, through the noise of other people's limitations. The crowd will call you insane, narcissistic, dangerous. Let them. Their opinions are echoes of the same system you are escaping. The forbidden energy is found in stillness, the kind that comes after you've dismantled every lie inside you. When you stop trying to impress, explain, or convince, and instead begin to declare, quietly, calmly, unshakably, you must see reality not as it is, but as it could be under your dominion. You must know that the version of yourself, who has everything you want, already exists, and the only reason you haven't become him is because you keep bowing to illusions. You keep mistaking resistance for fate. You keep mistaking delay for denial. But the awakened man no longer waits. He moves through this world as if it's already his, because at the highest level of awareness it is. To live in truth is to become an outlaw, not in the eyes of the law, but in the eyes of the false order. You become immune to shame, to fear, to expectation. You dress not to impress, but to embody. You speak not to be heard, but to shape. You wake not to survive, but to reign. This is not fantasy, it is war. A war against the lie you've been living. And in this war, only those who remember their divinity will win. Those who walk with no apology. Those who see the world as a kingdom waiting for a ruler bold enough to stop asking and start claiming. Those who look at what is and say, it will become what I say it is. Because in their mind, it already has. The world does not yield to those who wait. It bends to those who remember who they are. The secret, forbidden energy you seek is not locked in temples or buried in ancient scrolls. It lives within you, dormant beneath layers of obedience, distraction, and inherited weakness. It is the energy of sovereignty, of primal command, of silent power that requires no announcement. To attract everything you desire, you must become the kind of force that reality cannot ignore. This means transmuting desire into command, lust into focus, isolation into transformation, and belief into law. It means no longer chasing, but becoming, no longer pleasing, but embodying, no longer reacting, but orchestrating. You do not need permission, you need memory, the memory that you were never meant to bow, to chase, or to blend in. You were meant to rule, first over yourself, then over your world, not with noise, not with emotion, but with the cold, regal stillness of a man who has already won. Because true attraction is not about reaching out. It is about drawing in, and only the man who carries the forbidden energy, calm, unshakable, absolute, can do that. Become him, the world will follow.